Hey everybody, KMO here with another Out of My Head video. Yesterday I mentioned a Medium article. It was by Jordan Hall, and this is from back in 2016. Somebody sent it to me just a couple days ago. I thought they had sent it via email, but I went back through my email and I can't find it. So I don't know who sent it to me or how, so I'm sorry about that. I mean, if you are the guilty party, please let me know and I'll give you credit. But this article by Jordan Hall is from October 21st, 2016, and in it he is basically presenting information from a much denser blog. This is the blog of someone named Kartik Gada. And Kartik Gada's blog it's an economics blog, and it is focused on artificial intelligence and computing, we'll say. And Kartik Gada's argument is this: there is a portion of the economy that is subject to dramatic price deflation. For the most part, prices inflate over time, but not equally across the economy. Some things inflate in price much quicker than others. So famously, in our lifetimes, for example, education and housing have been subject to dramatic inflation. The prices are going up faster than prices go up generally in the rest of the economy. But in one sector of the economy, what we would call the digital, prices plummet. So here we have deflation. And the example that Kartik Gada and Jordan Hall present here is the iPhone 6. So again, this is from 2016. They were saying in 2016, what did an iPhone 6 cost in 2013? A new one, about $600. What does it cost in 2016? About $150. I went around, I just did a couple of Google searches looking for iPhone new, and found some on Amazon for about $127 to $140. Found some in other places, about $125 is the average price. And again, these are new iPhone 6s. They still make them, or I guess there were some left over from when 2013 that never got sold. So the price of this new iPhone 6 fell by 2/3 in just a couple of years. So how much of the economy is subject to this digital deflation or this technological deflation? Well, back in 1992, I think it was about 0.5%, according to Gada. And by 2004, it had grown to 2%. What sort of annual growth rate is this? Well, Gada says that to offset technological deflation, we would need to implement a universal basic income, basically to increase the money and increase the spending power of individuals. He suggested a $5,000 a year UBI in 2016 to grow by 20% per year. Well, what does that mean if it's growing by 20% a year? It means that by 2025, that $5,000 UBI would grow to $25,000 a year. And by the early 2030s, it would be $100,000 a year. Now, this is assuming that the share of the economy, the global GDP, which is subject to technological deflation, continues to grow at the rate that it has been growing. It might grow faster, it might grow slower. We'd have to watch it and, as I say, peg UBI's growth to the growth of the sector that is subject to technological deflation. I don't know if Gada's numbers are right. I haven't really even gone to his blog to read, his presentation of these ideas. I'm just reporting secondhand on these ideas as I encountered them in the Medium piece by Jordan Hall. So what do you think of that argument for universal basic income? I ask because I'm basically against universal basic income. I think it would be a bad idea. I think that it would cause rapid inflation in the areas where poor people have no choice, but they have to buy certain things. They have to pay rent. They have to buy food. So I think that the things that poor people have no discretion over, they have to buy certain things, prices will increase rapidly as a result of UBI. That's just my intuition, though. I'm not citing anybody's arguments. I have no evidence to present to support that. That's just what seems, intuitive to me. So as I mentioned yesterday, I just read, or I didn't read it, I listened to the audiobook of by Andrew Yang. It is called The War Against Normal People. And in it, Andrew Yang talks a whole lot about the things that I like to talk about here on this channel and on, in my podcasts. So he's talking about technological unemployment. He is talking about the opioid epidemic. He is talking about people in certain portions of the country seeming, feeling like they are being left behind, like their welfare is not being taken into consideration when we the people, are deciding on the laws, on the economic policies, on the general direction of the economy. What do we endorse? As a nation, we endorse neoliberalism. We endorse the rights of capital. We endorse the rights and the priorities of the big players in the tech industry, and the fossil fuel and the defense industries. I mean, the big players get what they want, and everybody else is responsible for finding some way to integrate themselves into the economy and generate enough economic activity to justify their own existence. Somebody described Karl Marx's writings as like a diagnosis, and it's a diagnosis that employs very sophisticated tools and insights. So it's as if you went to the doctor and the doctor took your blood, and then the doctor ordered some CAT scans, and a PET scan, and they did some very sophisticated analysis, possibly of your genome. And then with all of this high-tech, and advanced sophisticated diagnostic work, the doctor prescribes bloodletting and leeches. Which is to say that Karl Marx had this very penetrating insight into the workings, weaknesses, contradictions, you might say, of capitalism, and then his suggested remedy is absurd. It's just dumb. The working people are going to rise up and seize the means of production from the capitalists. They're going to institute a very temporary dictatorship of the proletariat, and eventually, communist utopia on earth will result. And clearly, that program doesn't play out the way Marx said it would. Andrew Yang is running for president, and his signature policy proposal is universal basic income, which, when I listened to his audiobook, The War on Normal People, I thought of that criticism of Marx. It's like, wow, he's really got the symptoms down. I mean, he has got a really solid diagnosis. And what is his prescription? Leeches. I don't see universal basic income, or at least I didn't see universal basic income as a very sophisticated tool for combating the variety of ills that we are facing as jobs are becoming harder and harder to come by, and the jobs that people can get easily are insecure. There's no guarantee that job is going to last any length of time at all. They pay very few benefits. There's very little reliability in terms of the regularity of your schedule or your hours. I mean, all of these things are demoralizing, and they're leaving more of the population feeling desperate and aggrieved, while a tiny sector of the population, the tech sector, is going gangbusters. When you drive out into the middle of the country, you find main streets with most of the stores shuttered, and most of the anchor businesses that used to provide mass employment for the communities have long since closed their doors, and people are desperate. And those are the places where you see the opioid epidemic just chewing through human life and human dignity and spitting it out and taking another bite. It's ugly, it's brutal. And to me, UBI, it didn't seem like a robust response. And reading Andrew Yang's book, I thought he had the problem down. I thought he was crystal clear in his diagnosis, and the prescription of UBI, he just didn't sell it. And I was really on board. I mean, listening to the first 2/3 of his book, I was really excited to hear what he had to say about UBI, and his UBI presentation was just the boring old Scott Santon stuff that I've been reading for several years now, which I just find completely uncompelling. So this stuff by Kartik Gada is the only thing I've seen to date which gives me any inkling whatsoever that UBI might be a good idea. And again, I'm not in a position to be turning down free money. If they're going to be giving out free money, I will certainly be taking it, and I will be spending it. When you put money into the hands of poor people, they spend it immediately. Rich people say it's because they have no discipline, and there's probably some element of truth to that, but also poor people have a lot of unmet needs. So anyway, UBI, good idea. Yes? No? I was a pretty solid no until just a few days ago. Now I'm mostly no, but it's negotiable. All right, I will talk to you more tomorrow.